One of my newer investors, who's also on Wall Street, was sort of trying to figure out who my mentor was. And my true mentor was Wally Carucci, but Wally was kind of, he would do anything, go anywhere, he would buy Mexican stock. Telefonos de Mexico was one of his best trades, which I think later became American Mobile. He bought it in the Mexican bond default crisis. Wally at one point bought, I think, like 10,000 bikinis because he was able to get them for like 2 cents a piece. And so he had all these bikinis lying everywhere. He was like, he just knew they were worth more than 2 cents a piece. But I think in terms of the process, if you read a lot, it's almost hard to disagree with anybody. Even people who, on a short-term basis, there's a lot of managers who underperform the market. Everyone, zero hedge blogs will talk about how terrible they are, and then 12 months later they outperform and they're back on top of the world. But I really like I try to learn from all of these people, right? If you can learn from anyone else's mistakes or successes, then you have better odds in life. And so I think, I'm sorry to not make it clear, but aside from Wally showing me that there was a price at which he would buy anything, that was probably one of my most core lessons. But Charlie Munger is very much, he changed Buffett. I think Munger more than Buffett has changed the history of investing way more than Buffett has. I think you have Ben Graham, and then pre-Munger influencing Buffett. You basically just had Ben Graham, and then maybe some global macro guys and some hedge fund guys that did make their own very major contributions. But I think Munger if you can't identify a value investor today without him. He's the essence of the moat, the management, the quality. The lattice work, everything. So, but I think you want to develop a process where even if, let's say you're not a long-term investor and you really can't stomach the short-term declines, I think Munger will still have lessons for you, and you want to develop some type of process where you can use wisdom from these great people, but turn it into your view of the world, your lens, your filter, and see and try to figure out how you can apply. One of my favorite people is Paul Graham. He's this Munger of Silicon Valley, and he writes the most brilliant essays. The best one is How to Create Wealth, if you want to Google it. But I'm not going to invest in venture because I'm literally buying busted biotechs in these land of broken dreams for 1/10 of what the VCs put their money in at. And so to me, it doesn't make sense to try to go in the primary market when you can get something cheaper in the secondary market. That said, I'm taking a lot of knowledge from Graham that he shared with the world and applying it into Rolls-Royce, for instance.